Yeah, we're changing the back tire on the F2400 Kubota tractor today. This is 1987. I use it for all kinds of jobs over the summer with the little forks on the front. I can put a mower deck on it. I'm about to put the snowblower on. I'm going to wait a little longer. I'll try and wait till after Christmas. I can do all my pathways in little tight little spots with this. I don't really need to do anything. I don't need this to do the driveway, but it's nice to have big storms. There's the tire off a 3060. Look at the size of these. They've just gotten bigger, bigger, and bigger, these F-Series tractors. Started at, I think, there was an F1700 or 17 horsepower. The numbers correspond to horsepower, I think, pretty much all the way through. So the F2100 is 21 horsepower, the F2400 is 24 horsepower, F3060, 30 horsepower, and there's an F3560, which is a really nice machine. It's 35 horsepower, obviously. I think they're up to a 39, so they're up to 30 from 21 horsepower to 39 horsepower, and these had a 3-cylinder engine. It's about the size of a lunchbox. It's taller than my lunchbox, but it's literally 12 inches long, maybe. If you count the head, the length of the head, it's literally 12, 13 inches long. Including the oil pan, it's about 2 feet tall, 2 and a bit, maybe. But I tell you, these motors go forever and ever. You gotta make sure you do your oil changes and your filters, air, oil, transmission filters, clean fuel. Make sure you change your fuel filter, and you will go. You know, for a big bulldozer or something, 5,000 hours would be nothing, but for a little machine like this, 5,326 hours. Still going. I need to change a hose. One of these hoses has gone bad, so I have the hose right underneath the seat here. It's an old phone. I found it in stock. I forgot that I had these, so I think I'll back this in the garage, heat up the garage, and change that one day. I've been using it without that hose, it's the chute deflector on the snowblower that I took the joystick off, because if you push it, it leaks oil. So I said to myself, we'll just put it back on. I didn't want to do that, but I'll put it back on someday when I got the hose fixed. So right now it's got this little forklift on it, which is really handy for any kind of, I can move pallets, it'll lift about 500-600 pounds. I mean, 600 is kind of pushing it a little bit. Ideally 300 to 400 pounds, but I move brush, I move firewood, I have a grater blade that goes on there. It's got some square holes cut in it, so it just goes on there, and I got a hole. I put one little 4-inch bolt right through there. It's got other things too that attach to it, and I always wanted to make a set of grapple, but it doesn't lift very high. It's the only thing holding me back is it only lifts about a little higher than it is right now, so it's not the ideally I would like one that would lift about 4 feet high. Then you can dump it on a fire or an area where you're going to burn stuff. But this was made, actually, and I made it in one night. We bought it used, this tractor, and the gentleman I bought it from, he had some sort of forklift. I don't remember. I just remember looking at it. I never took pic. We didn't have cameras and stuff back then. It was the early 90s, I think. I think I bought this in 90s. No, not early. 96. We bid on a contract. We got it. We bought this tractor. We bought it with a snowblower, mower deck, and the cab. And the mower deck was brand new because he bought a newer F2400 and he didn't like the 72-inch mower deck. So it was only maybe a year old, that mower deck. One summer on it. We still have that 72-inch mower deck. And I'm just like him. I don't like that mower deck. It's too big. It doesn't fit between trees and stuff. 60 inch is ideal for this tractor. So I use the snowblower a lot on this. It's got a heated cab. It's got your controls there. Little fan. It's got lights all over. I want to switch some of these lights for LEDs. We have LEDs on the big tractor, and they light up twice the distance, and they use a lot less power. So I think I'm gonna unbolt these. I've got some LEDs in the shop there, and I think I gotta hook up 2 wires. This one grounds through that housing, so, and then maybe the back wire to the backlight. When I'm working outside, this tractor's so small, I'll use it like to light up an area where I'm working in the dark at night. It's dark at 4:30 now, so this light's terrible, so it's not bright enough either. And having only one back here, I'd like to have 2. So ideally I'll put another one on the other side. If I go LED, I might put an LED on the other side, leave this one here, and then switch these 2 for LEDs in the front. But other than that, there's not much I want to do to this tractor. I put these steel pieces on here because every time you hit a tree branch or something, you'd break the light. So that way, and it's spring. I think there's a spring in there. It's kind of spring loaded. This is an old well casing that I ground it cut right through there, and I shrunk it down to the right size. It was 6-inch well casing. And I did that about every time we had a wet snow, the branches would bend down on the trees on the site where this was working at, and then somebody would break a light off. And I think it probably needs an oil change. It's getting really close on the hours, but the oil's really dark. It's black. So it doesn't work too hard anymore. It's kind of semi-retired. It lives its life in this shed over here so that it's out of the weather, which is really good to keep it out of the rain and the sun. Sun does just as much damage as rain to me, but it doesn't cut grass anymore. Although I'm thinking of sticking a Moradec on it, and I can cut when it's raining out, because you're out of the weather in this cab. But on a really hot day, it's unbearable in there. You got to take the doors off in the summer. This back window opens, but it's not enough air to. If the sun's shining in there, you just about die in there. It'll go up to 115 degrees. So, yeah, just a little bit of what I'm doing today. But I just found it funny that I got the old, because the tire was going flat. It's probably a thorn went through it, or maybe a board with a nail in it. I don't know. And so I'm going to buy a new tube, fix that other tire. But until I get that one back on, there's an F3060 tire. I've got it here. But and it's funny because the F3060s that we do have, both have F2400 written right on the steering arm right there. I think the same rear end has been used on almost all of these F-Series tractors, so it's built strong enough to be able to handle the bigger motor and the more horsepower. But what they've done is they've just increased the size of the summer tires, the turf tires. You can buy ag tires, or they look like ag tires. They're kind of like winter tires, and they're about that size. They're maybe a little bit wider than this, but they're tiny. And if you can actually put this size tire on this tractor, but you have to change the front tires too, because the diameter of the front has to match the ones on the back. So isn't that crazy? They've really increased the size of that tire, but it's better for flotation. As they get heavier, these machines, you tend to sink in mud and stuff and get stuck. I got stuck back when we used to use this tractor on a daily basis. It would get stuck more than a 2-wheel drive X-Mark. We had a X-Mark Turf Ranger, and because it weighs about 700 pounds, and this tractor here with no cab, it weighs around, I'm going to say, I think the tractor weighs 1,300 pounds. I'd have to look it up. And then the Moradec weighs as much as a Sears tractor. It weighs like, I think the 72 inch is near 400 pounds. 350, 375. And then the 60 inch is probably around 300 or just under 300 maybe. So the overall weight on this thing is probably 1,500 pounds. With an operator, you're 1,700 pounds. So it would get stuck in soft soil. But climbing hills, nothing can beat these tractors, because you put it in low range and you can just go straight up almost anything. And the X marks wouldn't climb, but they would come down, and then if you lost traction, you'd just come down like a toboggan. So out of control, like a crazy carpet. But these tractors, because they're that extra weight and that low range transmission, right in here you got your high-low. I usually operate it with low if I'm doing any work at all. Here's my tooth. It'll climb anything. It's a hill climber. So with good tires, you have to have. If you have ball tires, it's a different story. But these are pretty good grippy tires. We bought these brand new. These are off the RTVs. That's the same size tire as an RTV. Yeah. Anyway, a little bit about my little tractor here. I gotta get some work done now. Thanks for watching.